Welcome into Broncos Country Connected. I'm Matt Boyer, in for Alexis Perry. Happy to be joined now by the new offensive coordinator for your Denver Broncos, Justin Outten. Justin, welcome to Broncos Country.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You've had an incredible football journey. I want to take you back. 2015, you're the offensive coordinator, assistant head coach at Westfield High School in Houston, Texas. If someone tells you that in 7 short years you're going to be the offensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos, do you believe him? What's your response?
You know, anything's possible if you put your mind to it, right? And I had high expectations for myself, and I still do. And you just put your nose down and you grind, and you're a good person, and you just influence the right people, then you get an opportunity like that. So my aspirations and goals are going to continue to be high in those aspects, and I'm just excited to be in this position right now and fired up to bring this offense alive again.
In thinking about your football journey, Nathaniel Hackett calls you up and says, hey, I want you to be my OC in Denver. What was your reaction?
Absolutely. Just because of the man and the football mind, a great person to be around, I jumped at it right away.
What about him sets him apart? Obviously, Broncos Country, they see the excitement, they see the enthusiasm he brings, the juice he brings every day to work. But in your mind, what sets him apart from other coaches that you've worked with?
Well, if you take football out of it, it's the person, it's the man. And I have a lot of respect for him and how he treats his family. He's a great father, a great husband. He sets the standard for those two worlds. And any guy that you work with, you're always trying to find a way to connect. And he connects with everyone. And it doesn't matter where you're from, what kind of background you've had. He just brings people along and makes them better. And he's all about developing. And that's what really sets him apart. Organizational skills are unbelievable. Excel, PowerPoint, anything out there, dance moves. I mean, he's a great dancer. He could sing. I mean, there's nothing really bad I could tell you right now that would, he's a great human. And that's exactly what I want to work for.
Broncos Country can't wait to see those dance moves. That's
I know, they'll be up.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
So going back to this season, 2021, I know this is your first time as an offensive coordinator in the NFL, but this past preseason, you had the opportunity to get a little bit of a taste of that,
Yep.
Call some plays against Buffalo in the preseason for Green Bay.
Yeah.
How instructive was that for you to say, hey, OC job, I can do this at this level?
Yeah, throughout the whole week of preparation, you're always sitting there and you're trying to play the game in your head. And, situational football is where you win games. And then so throughout the process of the week, you're just going over the game plan and studying the calls and making sure you're on point with the CAN system as well. And so you can be there for your players if there is a question. And then throughout the game, you're always suggesting plays and going through the call sheet with the head coach or whoever's calling the plays. And you're just kind of staying in rhythm with them and playing it over and over in your head. So when I got that opportunity, it was pretty natural when it came to it. We got in a nice rhythm and flow throughout that game, and it was just good to see those guys react to the plays and come forward. They just put the best effort forward, and they executed really well. But it was a good feel, and it proved to myself that I was able to do it. And it just gave me the confidence to keep pushing forward.
In his introductory press conference, Coach Hackett said that his offensive philosophy, he wants to do outside zone run, play action pass, deep shots down the field. Why do you think that style or system can have success in today's NFL game?
Well, it's important to have a fine balance between the run and the pass. You don't want the defense to just tee off on you. So allowing everything to look the same to start out and then ends up playing out differently, and allowing the defense to always stay on their heels and making them cover the entire field, it's very important. And that marriage between the run and the pass and just getting really good with it. You get those colder games here in Denver, running the ball and forcing your will. That's exactly what we're looking forward to. And then that just opens up the passes down the field and explosive plays to come naturally. Yeah.
With any offense in this league, the success of the quarterback position has a lot to do with the success of the offense. In your mind, what traits does a quarterback need to have success in this league?
Leadership qualities, smart, tough, and the smarts and the leadership comes through preparation. And the smarts, we're going to have a CAN system, and we got to be making sure that we're putting the right guys in the right places. He's able to be a general out there and put people in alignments where we need them if there are some consternation out there. So he's got to be that leadership in the huddle, and it starts with the preparation throughout the week. And he is the coach on the field. He's the general, and the system that we have in place will make him very confident in what he's doing. That way, we're keeping clean pockets with our play pass, getting the defensive line thinking it's a run to start out. So it's all about confidence with him. But again, it's the fearlessness of staring down the barrel of a gun when you have a defender coming at you and you're able to throw and complete that pass and take it for the team and take it on the chin. That's also important too. So that toughness really comes into play.
I know you've only been here a short time, so just first blush, looking at the Broncos roster on paper, there's a lot of offensive weapons, there's a lot of talent. What immediately stood out to you when you just took a quick look at it?
It's a young team that has a lot of tools to work with, which is really exciting. We have the ability to really dive into them the next couple weeks and find out what fits our system, body type, athleticism, but just from an overall overview looking at them right now, it's exciting to see the roster right now and what we can add to it, and I'm looking forward to working with them.
Two names that are going to join you on your offensive staff, Butch Barry, the offensive line coach, and then Clint Kubiak, passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Clint's obviously had spent some time here with the Broncos previously, but in thinking about those guys, what they bring and the collaboration between all of you, how do you see that all playing out, and how much are you looking forward to that collaborating?
Those two guys are rock stars, in my opinion. They're cornerstones of the staff. I have a lot of respect for both guys. Clint, facing them when we were in Minnesota and Green Bay going against each other, just watching from afar and how he called plays and got his players to play really well and creating explosive passes and running the ball and sticking with that was really cool to watch. With his background, I'm really excited to work with him. And then Butch Barry, I've known for a while now, and I know what type of person he is, and he's going to definitely get his guys right. And we're all going to be collaborating throughout the week, and I'm excited just to see the ideas that they can bring to the table.
I know the beginning of April is when you guys finally get the players back into the building. I know there's a lot of work that goes in before that happens, so we'll let you get back to it. Coach Justin Outten, we appreciate you taking some time with us.
Thank you.
Coming up on Broncos Country Connected, the Denver 7 crew shares their thoughts on the newest members of Denver's coaching staff.
Broncos Country Connected is brought to you by Ford Trucks. Built better, built stronger, built Ford tough.
Welcome back to Broncos Country Connected. Now that we've gotten to know new offensive coordinator Justin Outten a little bit better, what type of conclusions can we draw about the type of offense we're going to see from Hackett, Outten, and the coaches here in Denver? For more on how the coaching staff is taking shape, here's Lionel, Bienvenu, Troy Renck, and Ryan Harris.
Thanks, Matt, and welcome to our Denver 7 segment brought to you by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Well, Ryan and Troy, things are happening fast and furious around here. Since the last time we talked here on this show, Nathaniel Hackett hired his offensive coordinator, Justin Outten, his quarterbacks coach and passing game coordinator, Clint Kubiak, and his O-line coach, Butch Barry. So the offensive staff is coming together. Troy, the youth movement, though, is stunning. Every coach Hack has hired, on average, is 20 years younger than the previous coaches.
Yeah, and that's not by accident. I think all those interviews started with, can you send a text message? Can you send a picture in a text message? Can you get on a Zoom call without any issues? But in all seriousness, they want a younger staff because they want to bring energy. That was a problem last year in meetings, in presentation. We saw it on the field in their first quarters and their first drives. So Nathaniel Hackett, he's caffeinated. He wants guys to bring that as well throughout the staff. So I'm eager to see how this plays out, but I like the idea they're consistent.
Well, Ryan, the staff's going to be young, obviously, and so far all younger than Tom Brady, which is amazing. Now, for a player, the contrast is going to be like night and day from the previous staff. Will this be a hard adjustment for the players?
Not at all. I mean, players are going to be excited to have some younger people around them. And oh, by the way, like 70% of the NFL coaches and players are younger than Tom Brady. So that's a common stat, right? But you want to have somebody who can relate to you in some ways that don't have to do with football, that can speak to contemporary music or shows that you're watching. It does matter. Fans forget, you spend more time with these coaches than you do your family during the season. So you want to have fun while you do it, and youth is certainly one way to get that done.
Well, Hack also talked to longtime NFL reporter Peter King, and Hack said he's going to hire a coach for his coaches. He said he wants to bring in an expert in technology and education to work with the coaches to make sure they're able to keep the players engaged and excited and involved in the team meetings and the learning process, Troy. Hack is so intent on engaging and connecting with these players and making their jobs fun, it's cutting edge, I think.
Yeah, it's a life hack from Coach Hack. Now listen, it does make sense because this is who he is. Coach Hackett told me when I interviewed him last week that he could have anything from music to movies to animal noises in his presentations to keep guys fascinated and intrigued. And I do believe with younger players who live on their phones, Lionel, this idea, the Instagram, YouTube society, it is the right method. It has to translate to wins, but it is the right method.
Ryan, you never fell asleep in a team meeting, did you?
All I'll say is that these are very comfortable chairs that they sit you in. You're typically done with the workout, but you do, staying awake is a challenge. But one of the things I love, people forget about 70 to 90% of any NFL room are going to have players with ADHD. And you have to learn how to teach to those types of players. You have to make them move in the meetings. You have to get their attention. And this is something that we did on Super Bowl 50 season. Our special teams coach had what he called stand up and shake it out. So we'd stand up and shake our shoulders, move our hips. And I asked him about 4 weeks into it, I said, what are you doing? He said, well, with all the ADHD players that we're going to have, I took a class on how to teach people who have ADHD, and that's one of the things they said. So you need these kind of ways to engage with players and to make sure that they're focused on the key points that will help you win when you get to game day.
Wow, that's a good point. Never thought about that. Well, let's talk about the Senior Bowl. It's over. We got a glimpse at some of the top quarterback prospects available in the draft. And looking at some of the mock drafts, guys, Pro Football Focus says the Broncos are going to take quarterback Sam Howell at number 9. NFL Network has a draft saying Kenny Pickett, the quarterback, at number 9. And Sports Illustrated says Carson Strong, quarterback, at number 9. Troy, what did you see from some of the quarterbacks in Mobile?
Well, Malik Willis clearly has the highest upside, but you're going to have to be patient with him. Broncos country really doesn't have a lot of patience at this point, but I saw the highest upside from him. When you look at Kenny Pickett, to me, he's this year's Mac Jones. He's the safe choice if you want the most pro-ready. There's questions about his hand size and his limited athleticism, but he would be the safest choice of those quarterbacks. I like Sam Howell, but I think Kenny Pickett did the most, he and Willis, for their stock at the Senior Bowl.
Ryan, what about you? Quarterbacks at the Senior Bowl, and maybe another player that stood out in Mobile that the Broncos might think about at number 9.
Well, Perrion Winfrey looked really good, the defensive tackle out of Oklahoma. But I really like Desmond Ridder. I got the chance to see him in person when they played Notre Dame at Notre Dame. He calls plays at the line of scrimmage, audibles at the line of scrimmage, and more importantly, he showed accurate passing in the Senior Bowl, which was his biggest question mark. So I like how he's improved, not just from his season and playing as a junior and sophomore and senior, but also what he's done these last few weeks. I like a guy like that. Some of the things with quarterbacks you see in college, they look to the sidelines to see what the play is. Desmond Ridder doesn't do that. He's ready to play. He's played in big games. I'd like to get him in maybe the second round if the Broncos had the opportunity.
Still to come on Broncos Country Connected, we'll take you behind the scenes as Nathaniel Hackett gets to know his players during his first day at UC Health Training Center, and we'll show you why Andrew Beck shares a special bond with our men and women in the armed forces.
Broncos Country Connected is presented by Carpet Mill Outlets. Bigger discounts, better selections.
Thanks for sticking with us for this final segment of Broncos Country Connected. Nathaniel Hackett's energy and enthusiasm definitely won over Bronco fans on day one. And the same could even be said about Denver's players, whether they met him virtually via FaceTime or right here at UC Health Training Center.
To say that I'm excited would be a massive understatement because I am so excited to get to work, and I want to do nothing but work with all these guys and be with them.
What's up, Coach? How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Where you at right now?
It's good to see you. I just landed in Arizona.
Nice. How long are you going to be there for?
Just for the weekend. My girlfriend had a girls trip, and so me and my boy come out here to come golf while they do that girls trip.
Oh, look at you. You a little golfer, are you?
Just a little bit, just a little bit. I know a little this, a little that.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. I might be the worst golfer in the world, but you would have a lot of fun golfing with me.
A lot of fun. I'm going to go today.
Right?
I haven't been golfing because of the season, so, I'm just come out here and have a whole bunch of fun. My boy Ike already told me not to play in ping pong, so I got that noted already.
Oh, he told you, did he?
He told me. I heard you be knocking boys' head off left-handed, so it's noted. I'm watching you.
Yes, I like to feel as though I'm somewhat competitive, and when it comes to that ping pong game, I was like, where's the ping pong table? And they said, I was like, well, we might have to get that going because anybody that wants some, I'll come give it to them. I told them right out the gate, you could pick the hand.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, it's so great to see you. And please, Monday, come up here. I'd love to see you and talk more.
It's about the relationships. It's about watching those guys out there excel. I want to create this environment where people want to come into this building and work.
Nathaniel Hackett. Nice to meet you, man. Awesome. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
How's everything going?
Way,
oh, thank you. This is a dream come true. I mean, especially an organization like this one. So I'm just kind of like chomping at the bit, wanting to meet everybody. Yeah, you got to do a couple other things, and then I get to actually go to work. So I'm excited.
For me, that's one of the first things you have to do. They're the heartbeat of this thing, and I want to get to know them all. I want to understand who they are. This game's about relationships, and right when we're done here in the next couple days, it's about building those relationships.
I mean, the damn Denver Broncos, Mile High with you? Are you kidding me?
We're about to make it happen. I'm excited, man. I asked a bunch of guys. I asked AJ Dillon about you.
AJ.
I've asked Preston. I know Preston Smith really well. I asked Preston about you.
He's the man.
And I've heard the same things, and I'm really excited, man. And obviously, we'll be able to talk about it more, but you got a hungry group.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. And just know we're going to do this together. I mean, all of us, we're going to do this together as one. And, we're going to win some ball games, because in the end, that's the fun stuff, right? And it's about having some fun. So we got to win some games, and we got to do it the right way and together. And, man, I just can't wait to meet you, man. Do you know when you might be around? Because I'm going to have to get, just so you know ahead of time, I'm a hugger. So I'm just excited to be here with you guys. So, no, seriously, when you get in town, I don't know how people are going to get numbers out, and I'll definitely call you again. But if just reach out, whatever, track me down, tell me where you need me to be, and I just can't wait to I'm meeting you now, but I can't wait to see you in person. Whatever you need, you just let me know.
All right, will do. Nice to meet you, Coach.
All right, man, great talking to you.
One player Hackett will enjoy getting to know is Denver's do-everything fullback and tight end, Andrew Beck. This year, thanks to his philanthropic work with multiple military organizations, Beck is one of 3 finalists for the NFL's Salute to Service Award. For more on Beck's years of work with the military community, here's Nick Rothschild.
I just don't look at this and see flying through the air.
In another life, Andrew Beck may have followed in his father's footsteps, wearing camouflage instead of orange and blue.
Had I gone that way, it definitely would have ended up being in the Army, I can almost guarantee you. He definitely would have let me join the Navy, that's for sure. My dad is an active duty 1-star in the Army right now, so obviously I've got very close ties to the military.
Army life is a nomadic existence.
I lived 11 places before I got to college. I remember asking my dad, Dad, how am I ever going to get recruited? We're moving all the time. Nobody's going to ever be able to find me, things like that. And he was like, it'll all work out. It always does. And he was right.
One place the Becks settled was Fort Carson in Colorado Springs.
I absolutely loved it. First of all, the Springs is a beautiful area. So to be able to come back here and play for the Broncos was such an amazing opportunity. All right, fire it up, Aaron.
That stint in southern Colorado built the foundation for a lifelong dedication to serving the military community, visiting veterans, and helping kids cope with military life.
Part of those base visits, a lot of times working with military kids, obviously I can relate to that a lot more than being a service member. So being able to see the kids, hang out with them, and I answer the same questions that I had when I was younger. You see these professional athletes, but we move all the time. How's that going to affect us? And so to be able to answer their questions and things like that is great.
Encouragement, support, and hope. He likes to show kids that growing up in a military environment is a benefit, not a curse.
Whatever you guys want to do, you're fully capable of doing, and more so growing up in military families. It teaches you how to persevere and how to get through obstacles that normal kids just don't see on a day-to-day basis. There's so many skills that you learn growing up in a military environment as a military kid that prepare you to be so successful in life, and it's reminding kids of that.
Being nominated for awards isn't Beck's goal, but it does help bring more attention to his cause.
It brings more of my teammates along. Every time we go to a base visit, somebody new comes with us, or every time we go to Freedom Service Dogs, and he's like, hey, can I join with you? So our men and women in uniform are people that give so much back to us, and for us to be able to do that is such a great opportunity.
Football is fleeting, but Andrew Beck's salute to service will continue long after his career comes to a close.
Getting to work with members of our armed forces, men and women that serve every day, means so much to me.
To find out if Beck takes home the NFL's prestigious Salute to Service Award, be sure to tune in to NFL Honors this Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on Denver 7. That's it for this edition of Broncos Country Connected, but be sure to check us out next week for the latest out of UC Health Training Center. Thanks for watching.